Hi there. My name is Harvey. It is a lovely June day here in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Thought it might be fun to show you my current garden, although we are in the middle of multiple projects and it's not quite done yet, but I'm pretty proud of the progress we made this year. So let's get started. So we have a fence going in, should be finished next week. All of this bed here and in between this peony and poppy is new, unplanted. We'll be getting rid of these manufactured stones and replacing them with granite cobblestones at some point in the near future. I'm not sure what we'll plant in this section, but I'm thinking of filling this whole area with poppies and something else so that there's always color. But this poppy is a gorgeous large orange flower, so thought that would be kind of nice. So this is part of the bed we put in last year. These cobblestones used to be my fire pit at my old apartment. We've got some hostas, daffodils, which are not currently blooming, little baby hostas, little baby hostas. I don't think this bridal wreath is going to make it. Took a chunk off of one of our plants up front that kept falling down. Some ornamental tobacco that will live in the pots. We have ghost fern, more little mousy hostas here. Not sure what the varieties on many of these hosta are. More hostas. This little section that no grass will grow in, we found a little piece of creeping sedum in one of our pots and planted it here, and it's actually grown about 10 times its size, so I'm hoping it'll fill that section in. Our lovely little rock pile. This is one of the many unfinished sections of our garden. So we have some coral bells here, and once I get the rest of my stones unpacked, we'll take another one of these paired up pieces of cobblestone, pop it here, and have a little walking path, and either let the creeping charlie take it over or plant some phlox and then see what happens. This is our bed of creeping charlie, that weed that everybody loves so much. We had it at our old apartment, really liked it, and took a few small pieces that have really grown, and we're quite proud of it, even though it's an easy plant to take care of. I think this is the red twig dogwood, but I'm not totally positive. Another hosta. So this awful looking section here, we're actually growing some Indian grass, and whatever else wants to fill it in. It's all awful stone under about a ½ inch of layer of soil. So we'll let the Indian grass take it over, and when we can afford to, we'll remove all of the landscape stone that's in there and plant something nicer. This will be some sort of utility area. This is the fence that was originally with the house, and our dog has been in here for the past year. Just started the wood pile, moved the compost bin in, and I have a brush pile I gotta get rid of. But we're thinking of putting raised vegetable beds in here. Then this is what we've been calling our depression garden, since all the plants that were put in here, aside from the 2 iris and these 2 very happy looking peonies on either side of the granite, all of the plants came from my mother, who shipped them out in Connecticut the last week of our winter. So they arrived and weren't too happy, having been moved. But the peonies are doing really well. Most of them have gotten a lot of new growth. Even the ones that are slouched over are still alive. And at the ends are some large sections of daffodil that kind of died back to the ground pretty early. I'm hoping that the bulbs come back next year. We have raspberry plant, a whole bunch of black raspberries, and then another raspberry here. Some sedum, coneflower or echinacea, chunk of a train car, sedum. All of the iris over here were also sent out from Connecticut by my mom. They're doing well despite not having been handled very well. They were planted in another spot when they came out here and started to die back, so I'm happy. all of this plant and many of the others had turned brown and was dying away. So there we have an Austrian copper rosebush, some Siberian iris. This is a tree peony, also from Connecticut, that grew outside my window when I was a kid. My Empress Wu Hosta, I forget what that is. Nice spirea bush growing pretty happily. This is my Frau Dagmar Hartkopf rose bush, another one planted just this year. A pasque flower, really hope that comes back next year. Some sad iris. I want to say this was Liatris. This is a Burgundian rose. Oh, we skipped a rose. Well, we'll get to the other side. I'll get the mulch off of this, but here's some dianthus that I'm hoping will spread and fill in under the rose bush as it starts to get older. Where's the, oh, it's inside here. This is a Cardinal Richelieu rose that is not doing very well at the moment. The nursery I got it from is going to mail out a replacement. We'll see if we can keep that guy alive. Back here we have our radishes, which I didn't really plant well. I just kind of threw the seeds down. Probably should have thought about it more before I did it. We have rhubarb. That was a massive plant I chopped up and is doing really well. More iris, and I didn't realize how shady this area got. These were planted at not the correct time, but back before the locust tree up here got filled in, so there was a lot more sun. We'll have to get these elsewhere. Lady's mantle, a whole bunch of sedum here. Again, hoping it'll fill in, this time under all of these lilacs, which smell so lovely. This is where the rhubarb had been, just in the middle of the yard for no reason. And it filled up that entire dirt patch. I chopped it up, and both of these pieces here are chunks that I found growing in the back here. Some high bush cranberries that'll get planted here. I'm thinking of doing a bed of iris right here along the fence line. Let's see. This is my failed moss garden. I'm probably not going to do anything with it this year. We'll see what happens next year. I'll try and weed it. The moss is doing better than I thought it would this year. It's actually starting to spread out, but it's still fighting with the grass and everything. Maybe some iris or tulips or daffodils over here. And then up front, we're gonna let this area under our pine tree up front become something of a wooded garden, or woodland garden. So we have wild geranium in this area. We have wild ginger spread out a little bit. A few different types of ferns, which I haven't been super happy this year, but the last time we got ferns, they didn't do well the first year and then came back. I believe this is some wild aster. We're trying to decide if we're going to fight it or keep it. And then this sad looking bleeding heart that's actually doing really well considering. It was growing out from underneath a garbage bag at my neighbor's house, so it grew really leggy and stuck out, and I'm hoping next year it comes back well and stands upright. So we've got trees that we're gonna plant under. Little Jack in the Pulpit. I think this will be a nice place for them, but we'll see. And then our front garden, which we haven't done much with since we moved in. Underneath this mulch is a ton of landscape stone. Again, we'll get that removed, but I've got hosta, some hydrangea. These daffodils came up pretty nice a little while ago. More hosta. Hosta. Let's see. Some daffodils, or some tulips. Iris and sedum again. Jesus, if I could remember the name of plants, it'd be great. We put in around the mailbox these iris last year, and got catmint I think there's some Russian sage getting ready. Possibly some liatris. I don't remember everything that was over here. These iris are getting ready to bloom, which I'm really excited about. We put that bed in last year, and we put this one in last year as well. So we've got an Indian paintbrush coming up. You can probably just barely see, it's kind of hard to tell. Chives, lady mantle, some sedum, little spirea there. Now this is, I believe, the native columbine for Minnesota here. Chives, Russian sage, if I recall correctly. So this is what those iris up front near the catmint will look like. Have some more columbine here. This one's a red and white variety. Iris, and then some peonies, and then this hydrangea is not happy being heated up by the light reflecting off the house, so we're gonna have to move it. But yeah, that is how everything stands at the moment, and thanks for watching. Bye.